Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows around world football this weekend. Patrick Van Straten joins me. Chris Hamill is still in South Africa. No talking point either this week. We're going straight in, no messing about with the winners. This one was sent in by P Steele 22, Lucas Moura.
Yes, well, Tottenham played a very weak side this week.
Had to.
And they were playing Huddersfield, so it didn't really matter. They didn't have Harry Kane, Dele Alli or Harry Winks available to them because of injury. They rested Heung-min Son, so Llorente and Moura came in to lead the line. And it seemed to work out with a 4-0 victory, taking them back to third in the table.
Yes.
That brings them to 3 wins at the new stadium without conceding a single goal.
Fortress Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
You know you're having a great season when Victor Wanyama scores a superb goal.
Yeah, I know.
Like, after 24 minutes, it was his first goal since that absolute screamer at Anfield last season.
That was a great goal.
He only scores bangers, Victor Wanyama, and then Lucas really took over, and he was the star of the show. Doubled the lead minutes later with a fantastic strike, and then wrapped it up in style with 2 late goals. That's a brilliant hat-trick, and his first since 2012 when he was playing for Sao Paulo.
Jesus, that's when everybody else was trying to sign him. United was into him, Barca was into him, and he went to PSG.
I know, right? After the Olympics, where he really impressed for Brazil. And Spurs continue to impress without Harry Kane. They've played 5 Premier League games without him in the side, and they've won all of them.
Yeah, and usually it's thanks to Sonny, but they didn't even need Sonny in this one. That's how bad Huddersfield are.
Well, yeah, Huddersfield, things do look dreadful for them. They've lost 4 Premier League games against Spurs without scoring once.
I'm glad Huddersfield are out of the division. I'm glad Huddersfield have gone down to the Championship.
Well, because they're just weak.
Proper Championship
They need
fodder.
to be taken out of the gene pool. They're terrible. They've lost 26 Premier League games this season. That's the joint highest at this stage of the season in the competition's history. It's level with Sunderland in 2005-06. They could set a record here, potentially.
They're just so bad, you know, and they were terrible as well on the weekend. They saw just 30% of the ball. Ooh. They managed just 1 shot on target. I mean, on the night, Lucas Moura put 4 shots on target. Jan Siewert coming out afterwards saying they were unlucky to lose 4-0. I mean, I don't think so, Jan.
That's a big claim.
Yeah, Tottenham are far better than you. Let's just touch more on Lucas Moura, though, because he does become just the 4th Brazilian to score a Premier League hat-trick. Can you guys at home name the other 3? If you can, let us know in the comments below. And he's actually having a quietly effective season for Tottenham Hotspur and Maurizio Pochettino. He's got 12 goals in all competitions. On the night, 100% shot accuracy, 3 take-ons, and 4 tackles won. More importantly, another name who continues to make headline after headline, who is becoming a Tottenham Hotspur hero this season. He was once written off by the White Hart Lane faithful. They've changed stadiums. He's a changed man. Moussa Sissoko, unbelievable performance yet again. 96% pass accuracy,
Jeez.
4 dribbles, one of which was outrageous. I don't know whether anybody saw the GIF that was on Twitter this weekend where he does 2 double drag backs in the space of about 5 yards, takes about 12 players out of the game. It was unbelievable from Moussa Sissoko. Tottenham, they have a difficult week coming up. Obviously, they've got to play City twice, I believe.
Both of them away.
Both of them away from home. But there was about a stage about 2 weeks ago where I thought Tottenham were going to drop out. They're on terrible form. Now, I think they're going to get in.
Yeah, to the top 4.
I think they're going to get in. I think Chelsea may well miss out.
I think Chelsea will.
Tonight is such a big game against Watford for Arsenal.
If we don't win tonight, we probably have to win all our other games for the rest of the season.
And you've still got to go away to Wolves.
I think we probably need to win 5 of 6.
Yeah, which is going to be a really tough one. Either way, a great day for Lucas Moura.
Obviously, the weekend's biggest game was Chelsea away at Liverpool, and at Centre, Nick has put Chelsea into our losers. What happened?
Yeah, maybe a little bit harsh, Nick, because obviously Liverpool's home form is utterly imperious. But, of course, Chelsea's top 4 chances majorly hindered by that 2-0 away loss at Anfield. And, surprisingly, Chelsea have got an incredible record in recent years away from home against Liverpool. They haven't lost in their last 6 Premier League games at Anfield, which is pretty bloody impressive. But it does shine, this result anyway, does shine a light on Maurizio Sarri's struggles away from home against elite sides this season. Maybe it's because he's not got the right personnel, maybe it's because the defence just isn't strong enough, but they've lost their last 6 away Premier League matches against top 6 opposition, which is not a pretty stat. Chelsea did struggle at times. I thought after the second goal went in, they had a definite period of pressure, but I still felt like Liverpool just about deserved the victory, you know. Still not sure about Maurizio Sarri's lineup in this one. I know that on paper, a lot of Chelsea fans going into the game were buzzing about it. You know, Ruben Loftus-Cheek in the midfield 3, Callum Hudson-Odoi starting away against a top 6 side. But the lack of a front man, the lack of a real target man presence up front, for me, hindered them. I don't think Hazard's the best as a false 9. As soon as he moved out left and they brought Higuain on in that 9 role, they looked infinitely better. I know after the game, Maurizio Sarri tried to play it down, but I didn't really understand the inclusion of Willian either. I don't really know what he added on that left-hand side that a target man like Giroud wouldn't have added up front. Obviously, they've been in good form as well with Hazard playing off that left-hand side, winning 2 of their last 3 games with him and Hudson-Odoi on the wings. I think they'd scored 5 and conceded 0 in that time. And when he plays as a false 9, at times Hazard can look quite isolated.
Yeah.
I think when he's coming in from that left-hand side on the angle when balls are coming across, he obviously should have scored 2 yesterday as well. He's far more dangerous than when he's running straight through the middle. On the day, he did complete 8 out of 10 attempted dribbles, which is a mind-blowing number, and managed 3 shots with 2 on target. But his inability to hold the ball up at times and his isolation from midfield runners, I think just holds Chelsea back. And I don't know whether it's because Sarri doesn't think Giroud is good enough on the ball to link play, or whether he doesn't have the confidence in Higuain to do that anymore. Higuain was crap when he came on. So I think he's probably just missing out on a really strong 9, Sarri. He can't do anything about it because obviously he can't sign any players in the summer. But Hazard, for me, much better on that left-hand side.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't know though, I did feel a bit sorry for Chelsea overall. I think they could have come out of this with a draw, but fundamentally it's just the quality of that front line making the difference again for Liverpool. Mane's goal, his 21st in all competitions. That's his best tally in a single season since coming to England. Salah's goal was his 66th since he joined Liverpool, so that's in nearly 2 seasons. He's got 66 goals.
Ridiculous.
But it's his first from outside the box since January 2018, so it does show how good Liverpool are at getting him chances close in. Liverpool now up to 26 Premier League victories this campaign. That equals their record under Brendan Rodgers in 2013-14 when they again went up against Man City for the title. They're just 1 point away from matching their highest Premier League tally of 86, which came under Rafa Benitez in 08-09. And there are 4 games to go.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But we're just back on that goal, by the way.
As soon as he hits it, you know it's in. Just because of the angle.
Fabulous.
It was an absolutely incredible
howitzer. Martin
hit.
Luther King.
Yeah, well, anyway, Liverpool have got bigger fish to fry. They go away to the Dragon Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Which has been translated for us there. The Dragon Stadium on Wednesday. Looking to progress into the semis of the Champions League for a 2nd season running. Obviously, you've got that 2-0 win over Porto at home. Then away to Cardiff. So it does feel now like Liverpool's running is incredibly easy. You've got to imagine that it basically comes down to whether City can win all their remaining games. Chelsea, on the other hand, Slavia Prague on Thursday, looking to progress in the Europa League, and then Burnley on Monday. But are they going to make the top 4? And are Liverpool going to win the title? Let us know in the comments below.
Our final winners of the day were sent in by Noah, and it's Bournemouth, Pato.
Yes, they were up against Brighton this weekend, who of course are still fighting relegation, and they smashed them 5-0 away to keep the pressure on Chris Hughton's side. Now, possession was 50-50, which is quite surprising, given that Brighton had Knockaert sent off in the 68th minute for an absolutely horrific challenge. I think it was on Smith, or maybe Francis, one of the various regens. Anyway, he went in so hard and so high, it's genuinely appalling. And as a result, I feel no sympathy for Brighton at all. Bournemouth dominated. 14 shots, 7 on target. Brighton had 8 shots and 1 on target.
They're crap, Brighton.
Honestly, this is almost a record because it's the biggest away winning margin for a non-top 6 side since August 2012, which was when, do you remember when, on the first day of the season when Swansea beat QPR 5-0?
Was this when Swansea were Barcelona of the Premier League? And
Yeah,
just popping balls about with Joe Allen.
And they were
midfield?
up against QPR, who were just like guys who were all good in 2006. Anyway, man of the match, Ryan Fraser scored his 7th and assisted his 12th of the season. Most combined for a Scotsman since Charlie Adams in 10-11 when he got 20 goals and assists in the Premier League.
That is crazy. You know, on Sunday Vibes, I said I didn't think he's good enough for Arsenal, Ryan Fraser. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't disagree with that. I mean,
I kind of feel like this is his absolute peak.
I agree. I don't think there's any more to come from him, partially because of his age. He's at the age where you pretty much are what you are. And also just playing really well there. He gets to play on the counter. Like, okay, he's good on the counter, but do we reckon he can play in a side who tend to dominate possession and need to pick apart defences in the final third with clever interplay? I think that Ryan Fraser is the guy I want running down the field in kind of a 3-on-3 situation. And his combination with Callum Wilson this season has been incredible. So they assisted each other in this game, which is quite nice. They've combined for 11 goals this season in the Premier League. That's the most by a duo in a single campaign since 95-96. Alan Shearer and Mike Newell combined for 11 goals. How did Cole and York not beat that? How did Rooney and Ronaldo not beat that? How did Bergkamp and Henry not beat that?
I don't know.
Maybe we just didn't keep the data.
I mean, that is crazy, isn't it? But as crazy as that is, Brighton have been crazier bad. That's the worst link I've ever done in my life. I'm not joking. That could be the worst link I've ever sat and delivered to a camera. Anyway, Brighton have now lost consecutive home games in the Premier League for the first time ever, apparently, according to the script written by James Wayne. Not overly convinced about that statistic, but this is also the first time they've lost at home by 5+ goals since 1973.
Oh my God.
Bit of a tongue twister there. Now their record against Bournemouth is absolute shit. They've not beaten them in the last 10 league games, drawn 4, lost 6. They're now 17th in the league. They're just 5 points above Cardiff with a game in hand, but they do play Cardiff at home on Tuesday. I mean, if Brighton win that, then I think Cardiff are firmly down. If Brighton somehow lose that against Cardiff,
very possible,
and Cardiff finally get a penalty decision that goes their way, then I wouldn't be surprised to see Brighton get pulled in. Chris Hughton not having a good time. Notoriously football's nicest guy. Well,
their fixtures for the rest of the season are horrific as well after that game, right?
They are really bad. They've got Spurs, Arsenal and City left to play. I think Bournemouth are probably safe now. Eddie Howe absolutely delighted to have some of the bigger names in his squad back on the field and playing together. Either way, a massive result for Bournemouth and a stinker for Chris Hughton.
Our final losers of the week are Cardiff and Neil Warnock. This comes from @JOA903. Ooh. This does set up the midweek game quite nicely.
Yeah, it does. It's a bit of a tough one to take, though, for Cardiff, obviously losing 2-0 away at fellow relegation candidates Burnley, in a bit of a relegation 6-pointer as well. And the reason it's a bit of one to take is because yet more refereeing controversy going against Neil Warnock. We've seen it throughout the season. We've seen him on the pitch berating referees and calling them the worst in the world, I believe, after the Chelsea shambles. And on the weekend, it happened again. His side were given a penalty. It was then reversed. The fourth official told Warnock that he hadn't seen it and that the ref hadn't seen it, but then the ref told Warnock he had seen it. It's a bit of a mess. Let's hear from Neil Warnock on the whole situation.
I'll be asking the referee, obviously. The linesman's adamant it is. The fourth official told me that Mike hadn't seen it, but then Mike says that it is head first. So by the time I get in, I'm sure I'll get the right story from all three of them.
Because there's two handballs, or two balls to hand, whichever way you want to look at it, for him to consider, wasn't there?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Either way, Cardiff did fail to score for the 15th time this season. They have only got 28 league goals, which is probably not good enough. And if anything does send them down, it will be their lack of a standout striker. The scoreline, though, as ever, slightly flattering to Burnley. Cardiff matched the hosts for shots on 14 and even had slightly more of the ball, which you very, very rarely see from a Cardiff side. Now, they can still mathematically stay up, just about, but they still have Liverpool and they still have Man United to play. They've got the huge relegation 6-pointer we were talking about Brighton earlier, so it's going to be very, very tough for them to stay up.
Yeah, whereas Burnley, by comparison, seem to be relatively safe, you'd have thought. Sean Dyche now planning his 4th successive season in the top flight since taking over at Burnley back in 2012. They're 11 points clear of the drop zone, so yet another season in the Prem. And going into this game, he was probably pretty confident because he's never lost against Warnock.
That's a crazy
in
record.
6 games against Warnock, he's won 5 of them.
They've also been on tremendous form. I think they've taken 27 points from their last 15 games.
Well, their attack has genuinely been really good. Like, if you look at the expected goals and things, like, they've been, since Christmas, pretty much, their attack has pulled them away, which is something we're not used to seeing. In fact, it's the first time since 1968 that they've won 3 consecutive games by 2 goals.
That's crazy.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Wood obviously got both of them and hit the post. He's been involved in 4 goals in his last 2 Premier League games. And really, the star emerging for Burnley this season has been 19-year-old Dwight McNeil, who had another impressive game. 1 shot, 1 assist, 4 key passes, and the most touches of anyone in midfield. He's got 3 goals, 5 assists for the season, the second most in the squad. That actually makes him the most lethal teenager in the Prem.
That's actually crazy, and his emergence has been so key for Sean Dyche, because without him, Burnley would probably be going down.
Yeah, normally it's just Goodmanson, just like hoofing balls into the box, but now it's Dwight McNeil hoofing balls into the box. However, they've got Chelsea at Stamford Bridge next week, so we would expect an end to come to their winning streak. But well done, Burnley, another season in the Prem, whereas Cardiff, you've got a fight on your hands.
So that's it for this episode of Winners and Losers. Head over to Eurofootball Daily, though, for the rest of Europe's best. Pato, what's happening over there?
I think we're taking a look at João Felix, who's been linked with a big move to Juventus this week. And obviously PSG's shock 5-1 battering at the hands of Lille.
Yes, goodbye.